In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 3 things that spiritual people are just not ready for in 2023. Let me tell you something. I am not going to waste your time in this video. And number 3 is extremely shocking, but it needs to be heard. Now, 2023, right after New Year's, marks the new shift of a big energy coming in. Now, what spiritual people aren't ready for is that they're not quite ready to accept other people who are unaccepting. But this is extremely important that we as a community learn to be this, because we need to be the actual change. We need to match the vibration of the planet and the energy that's shifting so that we can fulfill our purpose in being here. Now, the key to understand is that I get it. It is extremely difficult to witness a lot of people walking around on our planet right now, a lot of the aspects of our society that are a lot more negative and controlling. Ignorance is a huge thing. There's a huge lack of awareness, and I get it. It's very challenging to watch people walk around and say totally hurtful and abusive things to each other. But we have to be ready to accept the unacceptable. We have to accept that others are not accepting. You cannot sit here and judge judgmental people. Do you see the irony of this? What we are doing when we do this and engage in this behavior is we are literally being no different. We, just like them, are having our heads shoved up our butts in a certain kind of sense, and we're not being ourselves to the fullest to actually generate this powerful transformative energy that we all walk around and talk about that we're a part of. But I see it so often and so clearly that there are so many spiritual people that are judging each other, or that are making harsh statements about certain organizations in our world, but they're being unaccepting. We have to be acceptance itself unconditionally, because that's what actually brings in the change and the transformation. No change happens without first accepting the way that things are. So how can you be unaccepting towards someone who is being unacceptable? You do nothing but emphasize that energy deeper. Now, the biggest shift that is coming in 2023 is that you're going to be noticing a huge difference in people in general, in relationships, in the way that our community and society operates. You're going to constantly notice many of these shifts all throughout life. But this year, there's a big new energy that's coming in, and I bet you've already started to notice it. So that's why it's important that you be that change. You cannot fight hate with hate. You have to do love. Love is the answer. You can't fight darkness with darkness. Light is the only solution to bring the conscious awareness into that room. So that's the number one thing that I see that spiritual people are not quite ready for, but is absolutely necessary. We have to actually be what we are promoting and talking about. We have to actually practice it in our own homes. And it's as simple as that. The second thing that spiritual people are just not ready for in 2023 is to not be ready. Are you ready to not be ready? Think about it. The energy behind this is actually much more clear and powerful than your mind might be confused about so far. It's as simple as this. Our need to constantly be ready and know everything that's going to happen and destroy the entire internet for all of the information, for all of the prophecies, for all of the spiritual things that are going to be happening, for all of the top 3 things people aren't ready for. No disrespect to you. I appreciate that you're here. But what I'm trying to allude to is that this need to have all the information and to be constantly triggered by certain things that make us think that we need to know something, we are not exercising our readiness to not be ready. Are you ready to not be ready? Are you ready to surrender needing to have all of the answers and all of the information about everything? Because in 2023, that giant energy shift that's coming in and happening, guess who that actually is? Guess what that energy shift actually is? It's you. You are the energy shift that's taking place. It literally all is coming from you. So we, as ourselves and as you need to be ready to not be ready. We have to be willing to not know everything and to be more of the fool energy, if you're familiar with tarot. It's this fool energy, being the zero. Be ready to not be ready. Expect the unexpected. in this state of allowance, you are able to receive more magic. You're able to receive a bigger transformation and change that you are a beacon for on this planet and for everyone else. As a spiritual community, we must be ready in 2023 to not be ready ourselves and to surrender the need to control everything and to control all of the narratives and to think that we have all the answers. This energy is going out the door in 2023. It's as simple as that. Out the door. The more you think you know, the less you do. And it's as simple as that. So be ready to not be ready. Be okay with not having all the answers. Be excited about the fact that you don't know what tomorrow holds, that you don't know what life is going to look like a year from now. You don't need to keep writing about it in your visualization journal every day. You don't need to decide exactly what it's going to look like. You need to allow what it looks like to come to you because it's pure magic. It is pure ecstasy. It is pure amazingness. We must be ready to not be ready. The third thing that spiritual people are not ready for in 2023 might be hard to receive. That's why I gave that preface. But it's very simple when you really look at it and allow yourself to actually take that look. And it's this. It's time we drop the narratives. Now, what I mean by this and what is the not readiness about this and why this is going to be an issue if we bring this into 2023, it's actually quite simple. See, there are so many different narratives going around. I'm going to use one that I believe a lot of people in the spiritual community will see as a silly one. The idea that is instilled in our reality that money is the most important thing, that people spend so much of their lives fighting for. Now, you as a spiritual person might still be working through some of those beliefs and experiences in your life. You might still be in pursuit of money, and that's okay. But the idea that you can see that and recognize that all that is a narrative that a large collection of people believe in and are projecting, that's what makes it a true experience. There are so many people basically addicted to that narrative that they are co-creating it. They are fueling that narrative. They're making it bigger. They're making a bigger part of reality. Now, there is no difference from that narrative than all the other spiritual narratives about all of these prophecies or this is going to happen. The moment that it's New Year's and it's 2023, this huge wave of ET contact or all of these things. We are so attracted to these kinds of things as humans because we love excitement and we love drama. People love at the end of the day to disconnect from the narrative they've been living and attach to a new narrative. So even as a spiritual people and a spiritual community, we are simply jumping from one narrative to the next. Now, what happens when we do that is we never actually see what is here and now. We aren't able to exist in an enlightened way. But we can't see that when what we're looking at is being filtered and processed through all these ideas you have, all these memories you have, all these stories that you believe are true. What ends up happening is every single thing that happens around us, we grab it and we shove it through a filter within us to make sure that it helps to convince us that what we believe is true. So what I'm trying to emphasize here about what spiritual people and just all people, let's be honest, guys, what does it even mean to be spiritual? Am I right? That's just another narrative, another identification that we're making. I'm no longer in the matrix. Now I'm spiritual. That's the matrix. That's the matrix. That's what it's like no one is talking about it, you know? That's the matrix. Why must we identify with everything and believe so strongly in all these narratives and ideas? Why must we cling to them? It's time to be you. It's time to really be you. Not the idea of you, not some narrative or story that somebody else said you're a part of, but you, who you really are. The true story that you actually are being. Because when you take a look, you'll see that you are far better, far more amazing, and far grander than any narrative, any prophecy, any idea, any identification that anyone here could come up with. I guarantee it. If you think you've got something that could trump how special you really are, put it below. Let's see it. It's as simple as this. It's time we drop the narratives for 2023. Because when we have a narrative, it's essentially a fantasy cloud in front of our face. So when I look at this tree right here, I'm not actually seeing the tree for what it is. I'm seeing a fantasy cloud. I'm not actually here. I'm not actually being me. I'm pretending to be someone I'm not based on a narrative I'm attached to, and I'm looking at something and not seeing it clearly for what it is because I'm filtering it through that narrative. In 2023, it's time to drop the narratives. When you do this, you will feel finally and clearly how truly worthy and special you are. You don't need some story. You don't need to listen to my or anyone else's video telling you how special you are. These are just more narratives. Set it to the side and actually take a look for yourself. You'll see it. I absolutely guarantee that you will see yourself for who you are if you look without all the filters, without all the ideas. Let the fear be there. You don't need to cover it up. You don't need to heal your fear. All you actually have to do is look at it. When you look at it, you'll see it for what it is, and it will suddenly be so ridiculous, and you'll laugh, and it'll never impede your reality again, and you'll never need, ever again, any sort of narrative or story to cling to, because you are so infinitely powerful that you are actually free from all stories, all ideas, all concepts, all narratives. Thanks. Much love.